Hello and welcome to welcome to Zasaa and Zasaa zooms in. Chinwe is with me again, which is why I was late to start because she was talking to me in the lead up to my entrance. Just distracting me unnecessarily. Thank you, Chinwe, for coming back.
Happy to be here.
Today we're talking about something that I think, I don't know. I think it's an interesting one because these days, actually, we're talking about getting married. The title is Married at 25 because both Chinwe and I got married when we were 25 years old, which means that we have been married for well over 25 years.
Yes.
And well over 25 years. And I just thought what?
Oh, I got married at 24.
We did the whole topic based on her being married
I was just thinking, wait, what?
at 25.
No, because I got married twice.
Married at 25.
No, so I got married. I did two weddings.
The same person.
To the same person. I had two weddings. So that's, I think,
which one are you calling 24? The first.
The February wedding. Yeah, February registry was.
Okay. Yeah.
24.
Yeah.
So 24, 25, but same thing. So
okay.
We'll still call it.
We
the same
both
thing.
had our white weddings when we were 25.
That's so. Yes, we need to write that in.
Make it clear. So and I think more and more these days. Did you think you were young when you got married? Did you think 25 was young?
No.
I didn't think it was young.
No.
I
thought it was kind of right on time.
Yeah, but you see, apart from you,
there was nobody. One person. We had one person.
I don't even remember who that one person was. I thought we were like the first two.
No, Big Bay married before us.
Oh, well, she doesn't count.
Yeah.
She was married straight out of.
Yes, she was married right out of university.
No,
but in our own set,
yeah, so it
plenty,
was you,
in our huge set.
Yeah, so it was you and then me.
Yes.
So I thought. I didn't think it was early, but we were the earliest.
I thought we were the earliest ones, but
yeah.
I thought we were kind of on time. I didn't look at it as early. Now when I think of it, I think, okay, kind of early-ish.
I kind of thought it was late, only because I was.
Oh yeah, yes. You always wanted to get married.
You know what I mean? So I kind of thought, and also because I knew I wanted lots of children, and so for me, I was like, the sooner we do this, the better. So in that sense, I thought it was late, but now it's considered very young.
Yes,
it's considered. Yeah, it's considered early.
Very young.
But so you thought it was right on time. I thought it was late. Do you feel that you have missed out on anything by getting married so early? Because you know how so looking at people now, either they follow their career path or they, there's something that they do before they decide, okay, let them settle down because I didn't do that. Did you do that?
No, I actually don't feel, I don't feel like I missed out on much, because I don't know that if I didn't get married at that time, I would have still done those things that you would, I always have this dream of, I'd have lived in Paris and but no, I don't know that I actually would have done that anyway. I don't think marriage stopped me from doing that. I think maybe I would have been somewhere else, or you never know. But no, I don't think so.
But it's interesting you say that. You don't think marriage stopped you from doing that, because I think
we have had a topic where we've spoken about this, actually.
Because sometimes the reality is marriage does stop you from doing certain things, because responsibilities and focus is different when you're in a marriage from when you're by yourself. So sometimes it does. But I think also it does depend on who you marry as well. And it depends on yourself. Now, if you've seen the last show that I did with Chinwe said she's learned to change her mind. She's learned, so I think sometimes it's, and I had an episode I did with Ene, and she was saying that sometimes it's down to us to say, because, we don't say that we are resentful.
Yes, but we don't realize that we've never said it, and they've never heard it, and they don't even know what we're talking about when we do say it. So, so we need to actually spell it out, and even spell out, maybe a few options for them.
This is what it means. And I think so. It's back down to that communication thing, which I always say is key in every relationship. Okay, so when you got married at 25, you went on to have children immediately.
Yes. Yes.
So you were literally wife and mother
immediately
at once.
Yes. I was. So I knew I always wanted to have children. I always wanted to have kids. I wanted to get married. It wasn't one of those things I was thinking of, but I never thought I would be much older getting married. I always knew I would get married, have kids. I also wanted lots of kids. I wanted more kids than what I ended up having, but
not too late.
I'm not even going to comment. But Yeah, so what was your question?
I said you went on to being a mom straight away.
Yeah, I had kids immediately. And it was strange for me because I had never had any interaction with any children. I never had any, there were no younger ones. I had no young, I had no one. I had no babies at all. I'd never held any, maybe I'd held one or two babies here and there, but I'd never had any.
You never changed the nappy.
No, I'd never changed a nappy. So the first nappy I really changed was, remember, Osuna gave me her baby.
Yeah.
And then I did that whole stint, and that was just me practicing. But Laddie, on the other hand, I changed several nappies. So he was the one that was, when they told us at the hospital, you can go home, I was like, what? Sorry?
To do what?
To do what with who? So yes, I did. I went immediately into having kids, had one, then had another one, then had a third one. Mm-hmm.
See, I waited
Yes.
almost 5 years before having, because I knew that when I became a mother, I wanted to be a full-time mother.
Yes.
So I was like, you know, you just feel like you have to give your, well, I wanted to give the relationship in terms of the marriage. I wanted to be a wife first before I became a mother. But I also felt like if there's anything I need to do before I'm held down by children, let me do that. So I did that. But I don't know, I think the advantage to that, although probably doesn't count with you because you had been with Laddie for a while before you got married, but you know the advantage to that is you know you get to know your husband.
Yes.
You know without the kids, without the wahala of the stress of having to look after kids and everything. But I think if you could do it all again, do you think you would wait? You see, I kind of struggle with this because I understand that girls are waiting because they either want to follow their career path or whatever, and then it's only when they start to think that, okay, maybe I'm going to be too old to have kids or whatever, that they now start to think about marriage. Do you think that we didn't?
But do you think, I mean, I know, of course, every, situation, every instance is different.
Yeah.
But do you think people actually say, okay, I'm not even going to look into that marriage thing as I'm chasing my career? Or do you think it doesn't happen? Because I'm thinking that even if you're chasing a career and you're like, listen, and you fall madly in love, wouldn't you still get married? Or would you say,
I'm not
going to marry?
It's interesting because the question I was going to ask was, do you think that we didn't put emphasis on a career in the way that it is being put on a career now for women? And that's the reason I was going to ask, because I didn't think of it as either or necessarily.
Yeah, because also a lot of people that ended up in a career, they weren't chasing that career at that age, at 25. A lot of people that ended up in a particular, like when you see...
Yeah, that's like our people. But I feel
that's
like
our people, maybe our people.
The girls now are...
No, girls
okay,
now
so
is completely different.
Okay,
But
all right, so
our
yes,
time-
so possibly... Because I don't think at any point in time... what I knew was that when I became a mother, I was going to stop working and be a full-time mother. But I didn't think that until then I wouldn't be chasing a career. So for me, I could have been a career woman until the moment I gave birth. But it wasn't... I don't know.
It wasn't...
I don't know how to explain it. It was. I mean, it's not like. I mean, of course we did stuff, but it wasn't that like you must. You have your career. And I don't know if that's a
I think we were actually
thing.
just... Well, for me, I think I was just living. I was living in that moment. I wasn't very, like...
Strategic.
No, I wasn't very strategic. I wasn't future driven. I wasn't thinking, okay, guess what? In the next 10 years is what I want to see my life. I didn't do that. So maybe if I had to change anything, I would still do the same things, but I would have a vision, of what I wanted in later life. But I mean, the positives, I guess, are that, you have grown-up kids. Even though as much as I keep saying, oh, I wish I could go back to those days when they were little. Are you saying that?
No.
So...
However, I'm always broody. I mean, I was always broody before I had kids.
Yeah.
Still broody. I mean, it's
Yes,
not that I'm going to have kids because I'm broody, but I love a baby.
So do I.
Oh my goodness.
So do I.
love
So
a
now
baby.
you look forward to grandkids that you can actually give back, apparently. I don't know that I'll give mine back. I'll be like, no, that's
well, I'm even thinking that I'm not sure that my kids, the way I know my kids, that they will want to take them back. They will be sending them.
That's
for
what
like
I'm saying. They're not.
3
They
weeks at
they
a
probably
time
won't
or
get them
whatever.
back.
They probably won't take them back. But I go to grandma's. So I don't know. I think I don't know. I think there are positives and negatives to getting married early, but I still don't think that we got married early. Although in today's world, I think it's early. And I guess when we look at our peers,
However, if I look at my daughter who is 20, if in 5 years she told me, 5 years seems like a long time away, and she seems so mature that if she said to me that she was getting married in 5 years, I don't think I would have any problem with it. I wouldn't even think that she's too young. I would think,
Yeah,
okay. I wouldn't think she's young. I would just think, okay, are we sure? I mean, I would have, tackled all the things like,
Yeah. Who is he?
who is he? And have we prayed? And of course, but I wouldn't think she's too young to get married.
No, I don't think 20. I think, and women were more mature. Girls are, so I don't think that 25 is too young. I just think that, because I'm trying to think of the people that the younger people, the people that are that sort of age now, whatever, and a lot of the ones I can think of, yes, they want to get married, but it's not.
Do they want to get married?
Yeah, they do. As in, marriage is in their future.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
They
So
want
it's
to get
not
married
that
at
they
some
don't want
point.
to get married,
But they don't want to get married now.
It's not something that they're necessarily looking at now, because they're also looking. And I remember one of my friends, she was a doctor, and with a doctor, it's likely. Well, I don't know the details, but she knew that she wouldn't have. So although she got married, she wasn't going to have children until she had passed certain exams.
Of course, absolutely.
So you know what I mean. So she was very.
She had to plan it out.
Yeah, she had to plan it out for her career,
kind of
to
career,
make
you
sure
have
that
to
her
plan it
career.
out.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And I always found it really weird. I was like, oh, okay, but it makes sense in that sort of thing when you have a specific career.
And it's also different for women and men. It's different for our men, our young men. Would they be ready to get? I think also there's a lot more education. They're more educated on what marriage is like. They also know the ups and downs of marriage more than what we knew.
Okay, so you remember that clip I showed you of Michelle Obama saying that we need to stop glamorizing marriage.
Absolutely.
And we need to, because
Talk
the
more
young
about
people think it's about the wedding day as opposed to the marriage, the actual marriage. And we need to talk about I think she said compromise. I think that was what she was arguing for. Do you think, because you just said, I think that they're more prepared for marriage. Do you really think that?
Well, I'm speaking, maybe, let me...
You're talking about your own children.
Maybe I'm speaking about... Yeah, maybe it's my...
Because, you see, because I can understand why you say that about your own children, because they're older, they have seen your marriage, so they've seen marriage. Do you know what I mean? But I think in general, I don't know that they really know...
I think it's just different. I think different people have... Different kids, what we call kids, have different views. And I think, like, for me, with my children, I've always been very open about so many things about marriage, about life. I've never really shielded them from anything, so they have quite an open view about many different things. So they have expectations and they know what to expect, and I don't think any of them are about the wedding. I'm probably a bit more about the wedding. I'm thinking about the music and what I'm going to dance into. They are thinking, well, the one child that is thinking marriage-ish is thinking about plans and is thinking about future, is thinking about home, house. And I'm like, okay.
But isn't a lot of that his character?
Maybe. That one is an old man.
Yeah, he's an old man.
Yes, I'm like,
he's like an old soul.
I said, I haven't even thought about that. And he's really thinking, so...
But I think that's good. Because I don't think our husbands thought like that.
No, of course not. Mine did not.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I would have liked to have a husband that had...
But we didn't even know...
To think about it.
We didn't even know to think about it. We didn't even know that they weren't thinking about it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I think, you see, like, I think your kids have seen, I think my kids too, although mine are slightly younger, so not so, but, have seen real marriage. So it just makes you a bit more aware of certain things. Whereas I think on average, maybe, and growing up, what people forget that children see everything. But I think growing up, a lot of the time, our parents try to hide real marriage.
Yes.
So the children just got the vibe of something is wrong, but they didn't
really know that.
They didn't know what it was. They didn't see the problem. They didn't see the problem being solved. They didn't see you know what I mean? So they didn't see how it's...
Also, we're a lot closer to our children now. We're closer. I mean, I feel I was close to my parents, but I am almost one with my children. And don't talk about me. I'm almost one with my children. I don't really... I mean, what are you going to say?
No, I wasn't going to say...
I know you
so
have
she's
your things to
attacking
say.
me.
No, because I'm waiting.
I wasn't actually going. I was going to actually ask you to explain what you mean by almost one, as in you just know everything that's going on.
No, I mean, I obviously don't. I'm not going to fool myself and say I do. But I'm very, like, different aspects. Like,
Did you think your mom thought she was almost one with you when?
No.
Okay, so I'm just checking because you might think you're almost one.
No, I don't think so. I think my mom sometimes says things like, she talks about my interaction with my kids, and I'm like, but I was very close to my mom, I feel I was as close as I could be to my mom at the time. But now I feel there are different dimensions.
And I think it's also, you know, it's
we have so many things, you know, people are very in touch with their feelings. We didn't even know, we just felt we're okay or we weren't.
Yeah.
But now they can tell you different aspects of how they're okay, and you know, they're very in touch with their feelings. It's a bit exhausting, but they know it all. they know a lot. So yeah, but back to what we're saying, getting married early at 25. I mean, we were 25. Husbands were slightly older. Do you think it made a difference? Do you think they thought they were young?
I don't know if Wale thought he was young, but I thought he was young.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was 26.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a couple of weeks before his 27th birthday, but I think for a guy, 26 is young. Do you know what I mean? I feel like maybe 29.
And it's horrifying when you look at the pictures. When you look back at the pictures, you're like, what? How did my mom allow me to go off like this?
No, I mean, so I don't think, but you see, one of Wale's issues, so maybe Wale did think like this. One of his reasons, because you know I said to you, I was ready to get married sooner, but one of his reasons for not getting married was because he wanted to make money. He wanted to be able to be the husband the way he thought a husband should be. And so he was delaying. I kept saying, you just need to marry me and then all this will happen. But you know what I mean? But he didn't get that. So he was delaying because he was actively trying to provide. Not in the same way your son. Your son is miles ahead, but at least he had some sort of, I don't know, foresight that, okay, maybe I need to have some things in place before. Like, I think he wanted to have a house.
Yes.
Or he just wanted some things in place before we got married. So I guess, you know, but then I'm like, if I had waited for you to have some things in place, maybe we wouldn't be married.
No, you would. It's never the right time. It's never. If you're ticking those boxes, you'll never be in that space where this is just right. I don't know if maybe people do, but this is the right space. This is the right time.
I guess it depends on how strategic you are and how soon you start thinking about things. Maybe because if you are actually thinking about it from a male point of view, if you're actually thinking about it that okay, I want to be married at 30. But by the time I'm married, I want to have my own house and my own car. Then if you're working backwards,
you start working backwards.
So you know that the moment you come out of uni or whatever, this is what I'm. So because you know you're heading to.
Yeah,
that.
but then something happens and you just fall madly in love, and then the whole thing just scatters, and you're like, okay, well, no, I'm getting married right now. You know?
Fair enough. But what I mean is, I think you potentially could if you were that sort of person and you are quite strategic, and also you could, because I think there's some people who even when they've fallen madly in love, are prepared to wait till they get. So they're together, but they're waiting to be at a point before they then get married. Whereas I'm like, well, why are we waiting? You know what I mean? If we're you know, but it's interesting because if one of my, like, if my son came to me at 25 to get married, I think I would be a bit like, you're young, even now. You don't think 25 is young for a guy?
It is very young for a guy. I mean, I think it's very young. If Miles came to me and said he's getting married now, I could say, okay.
No, but Miles is not.
He's 27. I would say, do you want to wait? If Zachary came and said he wants to get married now, I'd say, no. And not because he's not responsible, but just because you need that time to whatever. I don't know. You said Wale was 26.
It was just before his 27.
Yeah, but life was also very different then. I think life was slightly different. I think things were slightly easier in our time. Now it's hard to even get a job. It's hard to get a job. The worst kind of job, it's hard to get.
So you see, I guess then that comes down to the practicality of how, because and this is the thing again that Michelle was talking about when she was saying the reality. Michelle Obama. Sorry, Mrs. Obama.
Gosh, hello.
She's my friend, actually.
Yeah, okay.
So I call her Michelle.
Yeah, I'm Michelle.
But you know what I mean? As in the practical, because I think that you can get married and have nothing and be happy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? As in, you don't have to have all these things. Of course, it makes it easier, but all these things don't have to be in place. And a friend of mine who is divorced was saying to me that if she marries again, the guy has to be established. That she's not struggling with anybody.
No,
again.
but nobody struggles in a second marriage. Nobody struggles in a second marriage.
But what if it's his first marriage?
That's not your headache. No, who would struggle in a second marriage?
That's when she said it. I hadn't even thought about it until she said it.
Would you struggle in a second marriage?
Well, I don't know if I don't plan to have a second marriage.
I know you don't plan to, but you know what I mean.
What I mean is that it shocks me because she was like, there was some guy.
No, because you marry the first time you marry for love. The
Yeah.
second time you marry for love as well.
But your head is screwed
Your
on
head
now.
is correct, and there have to be some practical. I mean, you're not just gonna. You're older. You have less time ahead of you probably than you have behind. You have to be a bit more.
But
practical.
you see, then she went on to say that if she had a daughter, she would tell her daughters. So she wouldn't let her daughters do what she did. I mean, not that she can stop them, but she was like, I would tell them he better, he has to have this, like.
No, but I don't think that's correct. I think as long as a man has potential, I think potential goes a long way. I don't think you can, I don't think I could say to, I mean, it sounds nice. I can't, if I say to my daughter, look, you want to get married, but the man has to have a house. He has to have this. I think
make sense.
it's ridiculous unless she has a house. Do you have a house? Do you have these things that you want him to come to the table with? It's like what you played me earlier. Exactly, it's the same thing. You have to also, what are you bringing to the table? You must bring something to the table as well. Which a lot of young girls, I think, might be under the impression that they are bringing. This is what they're bringing to the table. They're bringing physical. Yes.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is that because when you're saying that and you're saying what are you going to bring to the table, I'm thinking, does what they bring to the table have to be equal? So, for example, if the man is bringing a house, it's not that the woman has to bring a house. Could she not bring, I don't know, a good job?
Could bring,
you know what I mean?
She could even bring creativity.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be.
Skills.
But I guess the way you measure it, you see the house and you see it as much more than maybe.
No, but if someone is insisting that, this person must bring this, then you also should be coming with something. You shouldn't come empty-handed. When I say empty-handed, I don't mean a physical thing. You should have something.
Well, I think that's the whole point of marriage. That everybody brings something. But I think that sometimes we rate what is something and what is not something, and
what we can see.
So that so you. So I don't know, because I think if my. No, I'm thinking about that, what my friend was saying, that she would tell her daughters. I would want. I firmly believe that they should grow together, and because I don't like the idea of he came with something, you came with nothing, and then it will now be like it's my thing or whatever. I mean, whatever it is mine, but you know what I mean. It's still you bring something. You know what I mean. So the idea of them starting with nothing and building it together, I think that's is a good thing. But I don't know how many of because I'm looking at my daughter and you know her, and I don't know. I don't know if that's
she'll want him to bring something to some. Or what?
I think I just think that I think there's an element of she wanted to, and I always say, like, I actually say to her, what are you going to bring? Know, and she was actually quite offended with me the other day, because she was like, are you implying that I have nothing to bring? And that wasn't what I was saying, but because I asked the question when she was saying to me, this is what she wants, and I said, okay, so
what are you going to
you write down what
exactly.
You know what I mean. So exactly that thing. In fact, funny thing, I hadn't. So and she was like, oh, are you saying I have nothing to bring? So I said, no, I'm not saying you have nothing to bring, but I'm saying if you're coming with these expectations, you must come
also
correct
come with something
as
of
well,
course.
But I don't know whether, because I'll be honest, I don't remember thinking about any of this.
No,
for me, it was just we're in love, we're together, and we will make it happen. You know, it was not about who is bringing what.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I think we had a gentler spirit.
Maybe the world was gentler. Do you think
I think it was. I think it was an easier place to. And also, everything wasn't so open. There's the social media makes everything so open. So I can see what you have. You can see what I have.
Or what I'm pretending to have.
Or what you're pretending to have, actually, because it's not really what. And and even though we know it's fake, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny because I was talking to someone yesterday at this event, and I was saying to her that when I post things on social media, I post my Zasaa moments, which show what I've been up to. Now, I have been to several funerals, and I've never once posted any of them. Not because I haven't documented them or even created the video, but because I feel
148.
like... 148?
Yeah, 1 minute and 48.
Wow. But because I feel like it's sensitive, and I don't know if the person. So if it was someone I'm really close to, and I can now say, are you okay with me posting it? And I think I do it in a nice way. It's not derogatory or anything, but you still have to
just
get
never
the.
know, it's
So,
personal.
so obviously, anybody that's looking at my feed is going to think, oh, she's always going to karate. She's always going to.
course,
They're
of
not going
course,
to know that in between all of these things, I
life
went
is
to 5.
happening.
Yeah, do you know what I
Life
mean?
is
And I
happening.
don't like that because I would like my feed to be much more real or robust. But I'm
But you have
kind
to be
of yeah, you know what I mean,
sensitive
and
to-
I'm kind of struggling with that. So I do think that there's a. But anyway, I mean, I don't know how we got to one. How did we get to 1 minute?
I don't know.
Okay, so what else do you want to say? So we're saying married at 25. I can't remember the conversation.
Yes, married at 25.
Do you think it was a good thing?
Yes.
Would you do it all over again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even with knowing that you could be strategic and you could plan and you could, would you change
No,
anything?
I wouldn't change marrying at 25 because I like the fact that I had kids early. I like all of that. I would have had more kids, and I would have planned. We could do all of it. We could do it
Okay,
all.
and then-
Yeah, I would do it all.
Yeah. Would I don't think I would change anything, but I think I would.
You would have a few more kids.
Definitely.
Yes.
I would have twins. It's
Yeah,
just
well,
that,
I mean, if
God's
you can't,
just well,
yes.
I intended to have twins
I know,
and it didn't
I know,
happen,
you always
so I
said
don't
so.
know. So I would probably have a few more kids, but apart from that, I think I would be more
Intentional.
intentional
about
about the future.
I would
about
definitely.
specific
Definitely.
things.
I didn't even think about
you
the
know,
future, so I would
putting
definitely think
things
about.
in place. And, I mean, I
Absolutely.
thought about the future, but it was just that.
But it was just
mansion
a future.
with- you know what I
It
mean?
wasn't
like
detailed.
how are we going
It
to
wasn't-
get to
yes,
the
how are we
future?
getting there?
Yes. So I think I'll be a bit more specific
You have 6
about
seconds.
that. Okay, follow us on YouTube. Let us know what you think, and we'll see.
You get there.